Alright, we got a minute to do this. You know, let's go, BB. Not that hard. Okay. Yeah. Not that bad. We can do this. This game's actually really easy. Like, what am I complaining about? What time? This is actually... Oh. It's pretty easy. Oh. 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 See, this game isn't hard. Oh. No, I'm gonna make... Oh, come on. Oh, cut!
I don't want to set the world on fire. I just want to start a flame in your heart.
How's it going, everyone? It's me, Mark, and today we're back for another review, and we've done so many so far that I've already lost count. But this one should be interesting. It's a game type that we haven't really done before, and I'm actually kind of excited to do this one. But as usual, if you want to go buy the game itself, which we recommend because this is how change can really happen within these small games. All the link is going to be in the description, or if you're in the article, all the Steam links should be in there, so that's that. And the game we are doing today is Big Fish Legend, and you might be wondering, what is Big Fish Legend? Well, Big Fish Legend is a 2D platformer game where the basis of the game is a friend, your rat friend, came to tell you about this legend about this fish, and you're a cat and you become all excited. It's like, oh, I want to go meet this fish. So you go through a bunch of 2D levels and an attempt to find a fish or meet the fish. That's essentially what the game is. And yeah. After your friend tells you about the Big Fish Legend, you have some sudden desire to go meet this fish. And that's where the game starts. And then there's stages in the game where there's like 18 levels per section. There's like a jungle, ice section, and like the desert section, volcano section. And then all of these levels within the game have some different tasks. That there could be like a time limit, you have to dash through it, or you have to find some fire, you have to find some keys, you have to find the exit, and that's what Big Fish Legend's all about. So essentially what you have to do within the levels is you're giving a task, like to go find a key, and then while you go find the key, you have to explore through the level, collect certain objects and stuff like that, open doors with the keys you find, and find the exit ultimately. As well as at collecting gems to increase your lives without various mobs throughout the levels. So that's what you're doing throughout a lot of these games, with different tasks sometimes. A quick note about Big Fish Legend. The developers are some Russian website that basically uploads a bunch of games or mini games, kind of like Miniclip. But there are developer info in this, which is nice and easy to find, which is good. This game was released on July 20th, 2015, and it's currently $6.99 on Steam, which it is a fair price, I guess, to what the game has to offer. I think it's not, maybe a little overpriced, but it's not that bad. As per usual, we're gonna get into the positives about the games, and there are actually quite a bit of positives to talk about Big Fish Legends. And to be quite frank, this game kind of surprised me, because my expectations were actually really low for this, so let's get into it. The first thing that surprised me about this game were the graphics. Sure, they're not the best of graphics, but for this kind of game, this 2D platformer type of game, you don't really need excellent graphics, and they're not that bad. The graphics, it's not spectacular, but it's doable. And something I like when you're playing like the levels is the backdrop behind. I think it looks really cool, especially in the jungle area of the game. I think the volcano and the hills behind look really nice, and it gives it a nice feel to the game. What also surprised me is the amount of levels there are in Big Fish Legend. I was not expecting a lot of levels, and oh my god. Just in the first section, there's like 19 or 20 levels, and they all have different type of objectives, different tasks you have to do, and it's a lot of content, I'm not gonna lie, and that's pretty good because they're all kind of fun in their own way, the different levels that they have, which is good. It makes the game a lot more enjoyable. Referring back to the levels themselves, they are big, well made, I think, and there's just a lot of things to do. Like all the levels, like I said before, have different tasks to do, and it gives the game like a different feel every time you're going into the level. Makes it nice, makes you feel like you're actually doing something. Another big part of the game are the jewels you have to collect throughout the game. I thought it was kind of pointless, but it is, I don't know, low-key fun to actually, you know, collect the gems and stuff like that. I think it makes the game actually a lot more enjoyable than it would have without them. Referring to the controls of the game, they're actually not that bad. Pretty easy to, you know, get the hang of. You could either use your arrow keys. I think you can WASD. It's either arrow keys or WASD. I'm not quite sure. And then you could use your mouse. I don't recommend the mouse. It just kind of feels weird. But the controls, yeah, there are a variety and they're pretty easy to learn, which is good. Makes the game simple and easy to learn. Referring back to the levels, some of the levels are actually quite difficult, which make the game like worth playing because you feel a sense of reward after you finish the level. Like, I forget which level, but it's in the jungle area where there's like a time limit you have to speed through it. That took me several tries and I was getting frustrated, but frustrating in a good way. And I think that's good to have and makes, you know, for a game like this, I thought, oh my god, it's blowing me out of the water so far. Something else I would like to mention that I like about the game. Before you enter the game, you're going to get like a nice comic. And after every you go into all the different sections, you get a comic right before that. And I just thought the comics just give the game a better feel to it. I don't know, the comics, they're not like spectacular, but I just like them. It adds some story to it. Feels like an adventure. They're actually kind of well drawn. And I don't know, I just think it's a really cool idea. I haven't seen a game put like comics into the actual game, which is cool. One other positive that I like about the game is you can have multiple saves of the game. I wouldn't really know why you would have multiple saves of the game, but in case you have like a sibling or a friend that wants to play the game, you could, you know, change player and change back to your level, which is nice to have. I wasn't expecting, you know, save files to this game, because there are games that don't really have save files, which is nice to have. One other element that I like about the game is when you kind of like get your hands off the keyboard and leave your cat for like a couple of minutes, it starts to go to sleep. It's not a major thing, but I like it. I don't know, I thought it was funny, make some sleep noises. I thought it was cute. Just wanted to point that out. One last positive I want to mention, this is like the perfect mom or kid game if you were to give one. If you want to give your mom a game or give a, like a 5-year-old a game, this is the perfect game. This is such a kid-friendly game or a mom-friendly game. Really, the holidays are coming up. You have $7.90 or if you have $6.99, this is the game you want to get, because my mom loves these type of games and it is right up her alley. So just saying, beware for this game. So overall, with the positives, I was really impressed with the amount of levels they have, how well made the levels are, the simplicity behind them. And that's what just kind of caught me off guard. I'm like, whoa, I wasn't expecting this. So if you do buy this game, expect a lot of content. I can see a couple hours, you know, getting your value kind of worth from this game. A couple hours spent. Yeah, I could see that totally. Maybe up to 5 to 10. But those are the positives about the game. Next, we're going to move on to the neutrals of the game. And to be fair, there are quite a bit of neutrals I have to talk about, which is not really a good thing, but hey, they're neutrals. They're not that bad. The first neutral I would have to say is that it's nice that they incorporated a story with the game, which I didn't expect, really, or them to go like in depth into it, which they did, and they did it through a unique way with the comics, but the quality of the story isn't the greatest. Like, especially how the fish or like the cat gets interested in the whole story. It's just like, oh, I don't want to go meet this fish. It's just kind of awkward. I don't know, it doesn't seem, it's kind of strange too, and it doesn't seem right, but whatever. There is a story which is nice, but it's not the best story. Don't expect a Shakespeare out of this one, no. There is even combat in this game, but as I said with the positives, it's a kid-friendly game. And mom-friendly, I guess you want to go that route. There is combat, but the combat is super lame. They're mobs, they're like rhinos, they're birds, there's lobsters, I think they are, or crabs. And then dogs, and then the extent that this combat goes is you jumping on them, kind of like Mario with the shrooms, and then they're quote-unquote dead. So that's the combat. That's as much action you're gonna get in the game. Regarding the music of the game, it's actually alright, but it gets really repetitive and sometimes kind of annoying. I feel like they could have added maybe a couple more soundtracks to it, but the music itself, it's not bad. It's a meh. Not too spectacular or anything to mention, really. Even the sound effects of the game, nah, meh. That's all you really need to know about the audio of the game. throughout the game as you're playing, the game's going to give you some hints too on like, oh, this is what you have to do regarding this mob you haven't seen before, which is nice. I love hints. I love when games give these hints because it makes it easier for the player to, you know, get used to your game or know how to play your game. You don't want players confused. The hints are nice. They don't really explain much, that's the problem, and they're worded weirdly too. There are even some word cards that are spelled wrong. There was one in like level 5 in the first stage that says it instead of I. Maybe not a huge thing to bring up, but at least get your English right. I feel like the developers should aim for at least. And even in this game, there are bosses towards the end of each stages. I've only encountered one, which is like a monkey towards the end of the jungle. And to be fair, they're nice. It's nice that they added bosses and stuff like that. But they're not hard. They're actually really easy to beat. I don't know. I give them kudos to add bosses, but their difficulty isn't that hard. And the difficulty of the entire game, it can be challenging at times, but really it's just sometimes patience. You have to be patient to finish level and just, I don't know. I don't really know how the developers could address this, but sometimes the game just gets repetitive and then quite boring and then you just want to quit. Like the first time I played this, I played like 3 levels and I spent 10 minutes on it and I'm like, alright, it's kind of boring. So I kind of clicked out and I just feel like that maybe is an issue. Maybe with just the game idea itself, but I don't know. That's just me. Those are the only neutrals I found for errors, but now we're going to have to get into the negatives I found about the game, and to be completely honest, there are quite a few. The first thing I have to mention, it does not look good when I first start off your gaming and I see the loading screen and it looks like someone from middle school graphic design made it. Come on. The developers can do so much better to actually making a good loading screen. The loading screen, I could make a better loading screen. That's how much effort they put into it. Or maybe they don't have enough skill or talent to make a better loading screen. And maybe even for the overall game, it doesn't need a stellar loading screen. But right now, it just looks really simple and looks like no effort was put in. And that's not really a good thing for the first thing they see, the user, when they first log on to your game. Regarding the glitches and then like crashes and bugs, there are not really a lot of bugs. There are virtual glitches. I can like show you that. And throughout the game, there's sometimes trees that like are above the ground and they're not supposed to, and it just looks kind of awkward. Maybe it's nothing huge, but it's just kind of weird. There are really no like bugs about the game, where like controls wise and stuff like that. But there's sometimes you're gonna experience some crashes. I've only experienced one, but I don't know. There's just some virtual stuff that looks kind of weird. And then sometimes the objects in the game won't work, like the teleporting thing. Sometimes wouldn't work for me and I would have to restart the level for it to work. That's just something the developers need to take a quick look at. Customization wise, there's really no customization at all. So if you're into customizing your character and stuff like that, there is none in this game. Regarding the interface of the game, sometimes it's really dumb, where I should be killing an animal, but it still somehow hurts me. I swear, maybe this is just a personal thing, but I swear I hit that on the head. But whatever, maybe it's just me. Something I can feel like the developers can work on, and this is maybe a personal thing for me. I was really confused when I first had to attack a mob and then quote unquote kill him. Because they kind of just get stars over their head and they're like knocked out. I didn't really know that they're done for good, game-wise. I just feel like you can make it a little more obvious when the mobs are, you know, knocked out or gone or dead. Whatever term you want to use, because this is a kid game. Something that I have an issue with this game is that it tells me where the exit is. It tells me where I want to go find the objects. Which probably has to do that this is a very childlike game. But I don't know. I feel like if you want to reach a broader audience, make it a little more challenging for them. I want to find where the exit is so I can explore, go find the gems and stuff like that. Don't tell me where the key is. I want to go find where the key is. There are even simple things that this game does wrong. It's like spelling errors within the hints in the game, the cards. That's something you could really easily fix. And it's not a major issue, but come on, you should at least be getting that right. I just really want to emphasize that. Because for people like me, it does kind of get me pissed off with my OCD. Even when I died in the game, sometimes the music will stop, and it's not supposed to. The music's supposed to continue even if you died and you respawn. And sometimes the music would just not play anymore. And I don't know, these are just small things that make the game a little less weird and kind of awkward for the moment when you're experiencing it at least. And that's something that could be worked on, I think. Another thing I want to mention is the lives in the game. I don't really get the point of them, because even if you die, you don't really lose anything in the game. You just have to restart the level and then you gain 3 more lives. I don't really get what's the point of the lives then, if you just don't lose anything at all. Those are all the negatives I could really find about the game, and really everything I could talk about this game. So let's get to the overall view of the game, or what I think about the game in general. Overall, Big Fish Legends surprised me on how the quality of the 2D platformer I perceived it to be. I actually thought it was going to be really crappy, but the amount of content level that I found in the game, and then the fun I actually had throughout the levels, because some of the levels are actually kind of fun to play, and I replayed a couple of them. And this game actually offers a lot to do with the various tasks you have to do within the levels, a somewhat engaging story. But overall, this is a nice 2D scroller, platformer, whatever you want to interpret it as. Like I said before, this is the perfect child-friendly game you can get if you have like maybe a 5-year-old or a 6-year-old or a 7-year-old and you don't know what to give them. $7.99 or $6.99, sorry. I think it's well worth the value. I think you can get a couple of hours off of this game too. If you want to give your mom a present, I don't know why I keep using your mom as an example, or moms in general, but I don't know, I feel like they could enjoy this type of game, and it's really child friendly. And overall, this game actually surprised me with how good it was. Even, I don't know how much that says with my expectations being low, but overall though, I'm gonna have to give this game a 5.5, because for what it is, for what kind of game it is, a child game, it is a good game, but I just feel like this shouldn't really be on Steam, because it doesn't really appeal to the typical user on Steam. So it's a good game, but I don't know if it really should be on Steam. I think it should really stick it to its original website, the Russian-made website. So that's just my personal thought. Well, those are my opinions on Big Fish Legends. What are yours? Did you play the game? You want to go buy the game? I do support you buying the game. Try it out. You could always refund it under free if you haven't played it for 2 hours. So go try it out. See if you liked it or not. See in the Steam link photos if you liked it or not, or it interests you at all. But those are my thoughts on Big Fish Legends. Thank you guys for watching this review. And I'll see you guys in the next reviews. Make sure to visit our website. Helps us out too. Visit the developer's website as well. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a great day.